Since you are the president of your own personal services corporation, you should view yourself as being on your own payroll. Imagine you are paying yourself by the hour. Be just as demanding on yourself as you would be on someone else who is working for you. Refuse to do anything that doesn't pay your desired hourly rate. Your current net worth. If you have set a long-term financial goal, the next step is for you to determine exactly how much you are worth today, in financial terms. If your goal is to become a millionaire in the years ahead, you must calculate exactly how much you have accumulated as of today's date. Most people are confused or dishonest about this calculation. Your true dollar net worth is the amount that you would have left over if you sold everything you own today at what the market would pay, and then paid off all your bills, prior to leaving the country. Many people place a high value on their personal possessions. They think that their clothes, cars, furniture and electronics are worth a lot of money. But the true value of these items is usually not more than 10% or 20% of what you paid, and sometimes less. Develop long-term financial plans. For accurate financial planning, calculate your net worth today and then draw a line from that point to your long-term financial goal. Divide the line by the number of years you intend to spend to achieve that financial goal. In this way, you will know exactly how much you have to save, invest and accumulate each year in order to become financially independent. Is your goal realistic, based on where you are today and the time that you have allocated to get to where you want to go? If your goal is not realistic, force yourself to be completely honest and revise both your calculations and your projections. Practice zero-based thinking. When you begin to plan your long-term future, one of the most valuable exercises you can engage in is called zero-based thinking. In zero-based thinking, you ask this question: knowing what I now know, is there anything that I am doing today that I wouldn't start up again today, if I had to do it over, knowing what I now know? No matter who you are or what you are doing, there are certain things in your life that, knowing what you now know, you wouldn't get into again today if you had them to do over. It is difficult, if not impossible, for you to make progress in your life if you allow yourself to be held back by decisions you have made in the past. If there is something in your life that you wouldn't get into again today, your next question is, how do I get out, and how fast? Apply zero-based thinking to the people in your life, both business and personal. Is there any relationship in your life that, knowing what you now know, you wouldn't get into? Is there any person that you have hired, assigned or promoted that, knowing what you now know, you wouldn't hire back again today? Is there any person that you are working with or for that, knowing what you now know, you wouldn't get involved with again today? Be perfectly honest with yourself when you ask and answer these questions. Evaluate each area of your life. Examine every aspect of your work life and career. Is there any job that you have taken on that, knowing what you now know, you wouldn't get into? Is there any part of your business or work that, knowing what you now know, you wouldn't start up again? Is there any activity, process, product, service or expenditure in your business that, knowing what you now know, you wouldn't embark upon again today, if you had to do it over? After people and work considerations, look at your investments. Is there any investment of time, money or emotion that, knowing what you now know, you wouldn't get into again today, if you had to do it over? If the answer is no, how do you get out, and how fast? Be prepared to make necessary changes. I have a good friend who was a golfer in high school and university. As a bachelor, he played golf several times a week. He organized his entire life around golf, even flying south in the winter to golf courses that had no snow on them. Over time, he started and built a business, got married and had children. But he was still locked in to the idea of playing golf several times a week. Eventually, the enormous time commitment of playing golf began to affect his business, his married life and his relationship with his children. When the stress became too great, he sat down and zero-based his activities. He realized that, knowing what he now knew, in his current situation, the golf would have to be cut back dramatically if he was going to achieve other things in his life that were now more important. By reducing his golfing time, he got his whole life back into balance in just a few weeks. How might this principle apply to you? What major time-consuming activities should you reduce or eliminate? Circumstances are continually changing. Fully 70% of the decisions that you make will turn out to be wrong in the fullness of time. When you made the decision or commitment, it was probably a good idea, based on the circumstances of the moment. But now, the situation may have changed and it is time to zero base it based on the way things are today. You can usually tell if you are in a zero-based thinking situation because of the stress that it causes. Whenever you are involved in something that knowing what you now know, you wouldn't get into, you experience ongoing stress, aggravation, irritation and anger. Sometimes people spend an enormous amount of time trying to make a business or personal relationship succeed. But if you zero-base this relationship, the correct solution is often to get out of the relationship altogether. The only real question is whether or not you have the courage to admit that you were wrong and take the necessary steps to correct the situation. What is holding you back? If you want to earn a certain amount of money, ask yourself, why am I not earning this amount of money already? What is holding you back? What is the major reason that you are not already earning what you want to earn? Again, you must be perfectly honest with yourself. Look around you and identify people who are earning the kind of money that you want to earn. What are they doing differently from you? What special skills and abilities have they developed that you have not yet developed? What skills and abilities do you need to acquire if you want to earn the same kind of money they are earning? If you are not sure, go and ask them. Find out. This is too important for guesswork or chance. Determine your level of skills and ability. Do a skills inventory on yourself. First, identify the key result areas of your work. These are the tasks that you absolutely, positively have to fulfill in an excellent fashion in order to do your job well. What are they? In every job there are seldom more than 5 to 7 key result areas. These are critical tasks. You must be excellent at each one of them in order to do the whole job for which you are paid. You must be good at every one of these tasks if you want to earn the kind of money that you are capable of earning. Here is an important discovery. Your weakest key skill sets the height at which you can use all your other skills. Your weakest key result area, whatever it is, determines your income in your field. You can be absolutely excellent at everything except for one key skill, and that skill will hold you back, every step of the way. In what area, at which skill are you the very best at what you do? What particular skill, or combination of skills, is responsible for your success in your career to date? What is it that you do as well or better than anyone else? Identify your weakest areas. Once you have answered these questions, you then look at yourself in the mirror and ask, what are my weakest skill areas? Where are you below average or poor? What is it that you do poorly that interferes with your ability to use your other skills? What is it that you do poorly, that other people do better than you? Especially, what key skills do you lack that are essential for your success? Whatever they are, you need to identify them accurately and honestly and then make a plan to improve in each area. We will discuss this in depth in a later chapter. Imagine starting over. When you embark on the achievement of any great goal, you should imagine that, at any time, you could start your career over again. Never allow yourself to feel locked in or trapped by a particular decision from the past. Keep focused on the future. Many people today are walking away from their educations, their businesses, their industries and their years of experience and getting into something completely new and different. They are honest enough to recognize that there is a limited future in the direction they are going, and they are determined to get into something where the future possibilities are far greater. You must do the same. In doing a baseline assessment of yourself and your life, you must face the facts, whatever they are. As Harold Janine of ITT once said, facts don't lie. Seek out the real facts, not the obvious facts, the apparent facts, the hoped for facts or the wished for facts. The true facts are what you need to make good decisions. Be prepared to reinvent yourself. Take a hard look at your current company and industry. Take a hard look at your current job situation. Take a hard look at your market relative to your competitors. In reinventing yourself, stand back and think about starting your career over again today, knowing what you now know. Imagine that your job and your industry disappeared overnight. Imagine that you had to make brand new career choices. If you were starting over again today, with your special combination of talents and skills, what would you choose to do that is different from what you are doing now? Your most valuable asset. Your most valuable financial asset is your earning ability. It is your ability to apply your talents and skills in the marketplace to earn money. In reality, you could lose your home, your car, your bank account, and your furniture, and be left with nothing but the clothes on your back. But as long as your earning ability was intact, you could walk across the street and begin generating a good living almost immediately. Your earning ability is extremely precious to you. And your earning ability can be either an appreciating asset or a depreciating asset. Your earning ability can grow in value if you continue to invest in it and develop it. It can decline in value if you begin to take it for granted and start to coast on the basis of what you have done in the past. Bundle of resources. See yourself as a bundle of resources, capable of doing many different things. You have a wide variety of skills, abilities, knowledge, talents, education and experience. There are many jobs and tasks that you could do, or learn to do, extremely well. Never allow yourself to get locked into a particular course of action, especially if you are not happy with the way things are going today. In mentally starting over, as though you were beginning your career anew, look deeply into yourself as well. What good habits do you have that are helping you and moving you toward your goals? What bad habits have you developed that may be holding you back? What are your very best qualities of character and personality? What are your weakest qualities? What new habits and qualities do you need to develop to get the very most out of yourself, and what is your plan to begin developing them? What bad habits do you need to get rid of, and replace with good habits? Go from good to great. Jim Collins in his best-selling business book, Good to Great, says that you must be willing to ask the brutal questions of yourself and your business if you are going to identify and remove the obstacles that are preventing you from moving ahead. What are some of the brutal questions that you have to ask yourself before you launch wholeheartedly toward your goals? Whenever I do strategic planning for a company, we start off the session with 4 questions. First, where are we now? We gather data and information from every part of the company to develop a crystal clear picture of our starting point, especially with regard to sales, market position and profitability. Second, we ask, where would we ideally like to be in the future? We idealize and practice future orientation. We imagine that we can make the company into anything we like in the years ahead, and we create a perfect vision of what the company would look like if we were successful in every respect. Third, we ask, how did we get to where we are today? What did we do right? What would we do differently? What have been our biggest successes so far, and why did they occur? What have we failed at, and what were the reasons for it? As George Santayana wrote, those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. The fourth question we ask and answer is always, what do we do now, to get from where we are to where we want to go? Based on our experience, what should we be doing more of, or less of? What should we start doing that we are not doing today? What should we stop doing altogether? Put together your own strategic plan. The good news is that if we have answered the first 3 questions accurately, the strategic plan or blueprint comes together more easily than if we were trying to plan without being clear about where we were or how we got there. There is an old saying, well begun is half done. Doctors say, accurate diagnosis is half the cure. Taking the time to honestly evaluate each part of your situation before you launch toward your goal will save you months and even years on your journey. In many cases, it will force you to reevaluate your goals in the light of superior analysis and knowledge. It will dramatically improve the speed at which you achieve your goals once you get going. Start at the beginning. 1. Determine the reality of your current situation relative to your major goals. Where are you now, and how far do you have to go? 2. Apply the zero-based thinking principle to every area of your life. What are you doing today that you wouldn't get into again if you had it to do over, knowing what you now know? 3. Do a complete financial analysis of your life. How much are you earning today, and how much are you worth? What are your goals in these areas? 4. Do a complete skills analysis on yourself and your work. Where are you good? Where do you need to improve? 5. Determine exactly how much you earn each hour, and what it is you do to earn that amount. What do you have to do to increase your hourly rate in the months ahead? 6. Imagine your future was perfect in every way. What would have to happen to make that vision a reality? Chapter 9. Measure your progress. There is no road too long to the man who advances deliberately and without undue haste. There are no honors too distant to the man who prepares himself for them with patience. Jean de La Bruyere. You have incredible mental powers that you habitually fail to use to their full extent. By systematically setting goals for your life and making detailed plans to achieve them, you will save yourself years of hard work in reaching the same level of success. Goal setting enables you to use vastly more of your thinking powers than the average person. Your conscious mind is the head office of your life. Its role is to deal with the information in your environment and then to identify, analyze, compare it against other information and then to decide what actions to take. But it is your subconscious mind that contains the great powers that can enable you to accomplish vastly more than you ever have before. At least 90% or more of your mental powers are below the surface. It is essential that you learn to tap into these powers to motivate, stimulate and drive you forward toward the achievement of your goals. Program yourself with goals. Your subconscious mind functions best with clear goals, specific tasks, deliberate measures and firm deadlines. The more of these with which you program your subconscious computer, the better it functions for you and the more you will accomplish in a shorter period of time. As you set your goals and begin moving toward them, it is essential that you establish a series of benchmarks or measures that you can use to evaluate your progress, day by day and hour by hour. The more clear and specific the measures you set, the more accurate you will be in hitting your targets on schedule. Your subconscious mind requires a forcing system, composed of deadlines that you have imposed on yourself for task accomplishment and goal attainment. Without a forcing system, it becomes easy for you to procrastinate and delay, and to put off important tasks until much later, if at all. 3 Keys to Peak Performance. There are 3 keys to peak performance in achieving your goals. They are commitment, completion and closure. When you make a firm commitment to achieve a particular goal, and you put aside all excuses, it is very much like stepping on the accelerator of your subconscious mind. You will be more creative, determined and focused than ever before. Great men and women are those who make clear, unequivocal commitments and then refuse to budge from them, no matter what happens. Completion is the second ingredient in peak performance. There is an enormous difference between doing 95% of a task and doing 100% of a task. In fact, it is very common for people to work very hard up to the 90% or 95% level and then to slack off and delay the final completion of the task. This is a temptation that you must fight against. You must continually force yourself, discipline yourself, to resist this natural tendency and push through to completion. Nature's wonder drug. Every time you complete a task of any kind, your brain releases a small quantity of endorphins. This natural morphine gives you a sense of well-being and elation. It makes you feel happy and peaceful. It stimulates your creativity and improves your personality. It is nature's wonder drug. The more important the task that you complete, the greater is the quantity of endorphin that your brain releases, very much like a reward for success and achievement. Over time, you can develop a positive addition to the feelings of well-being that you receive from this endorphin rush. Even when you complete a small task, you feel happier. When you complete a large task, you feel happier still. When you finish the various steps on the way to the completion of a large task, at every achievement, you get an endorphin rush. You feel continuously happy and exhilarated when you are working steadily toward the completion of an important job. Create the winning feeling. Everyone wants to feel like a winner. And feeling like a winner requires that you win. You get the feeling of the winner by completing a task 100%. When you do this repeatedly, eventually you develop the habit of completing the tasks that you begin. When this habit of task completion locks in, your life will begin to improve in ways that you cannot today imagine. In psychology, the reverse is always true. The incomplete action is a major source of stress and anxiety. In fact, much of the unhappiness that people experience is because they have not been able to discipline themselves to follow through and complete an important task or responsibility. The pain of procrastination. If you have ever had a major assignment that you have been putting off, you know what I am referring to. The longer you wait to get started on an assignment and the closer the deadline approaches, the greater stress you experience. It can start to keep you up at night and affect your personality. But when you finally launch into the task and push it through to completion, you feel a great sense of relief and well-being. It is almost as if nature rewards you for everything that you do that is positive and life-enhancing. At the same time, nature penalizes you with stress and dissatisfaction when you fail to do the things that move you toward the goals and results that are important to you. The balanced scorecard. One of the most popular movements in modern management is toward the balanced scorecard. Using these scorecards, every person, at every level of the business, is encouraged to identify the key measures that indicate success, and then to give themselves scores every day and every week in each of those key areas. Here is an important point. The very act of identifying a number or score, and then paying close attention to it will cause you to improve your performance in that area. For example, if someone were to tell you, before a meeting, that you were going to be evaluated on how well you listened in that meeting, your listening skills would improve dramatically within a few moments. You would listen far more carefully and attentively throughout the meeting because you knew that this behavior was being observed. In the same way, whenever you select a goal, measure or activity that is important to you, and begin observing, or paying attention to it in your day-to-day life, your performance in that area improves. One of the most helpful actions you take in your own career is to set benchmarks, and create scorecards, measures, metrics and deadlines for every key task that you must complete on the way to one of your goals. In this way, you activate your subconscious forcing system. This forcing system will then motivate you and drive you, at an unconscious level, to start earlier, work harder, stay later and get the job done. Close the loop. The third C, after commitment and completion, is closure. This is the difference between an open loop and a closed loop. Bringing closure to an issue in your personal or business life is absolutely essential for you to feel happy and in control of your situation. Lack of closure, unfinished business, and incomplete action of any kind, are all major sources of stress, dissatisfaction and even failure in business. They consume enormous amounts of physical and emotional energy. The key ability. Perhaps the most important ability in the world of work is dependability. There is nothing that will get you paid more and promoted faster than to develop a reputation for getting your tasks done quickly and well, and on schedule. Whatever your goals, make a list of all the tasks that you will have to accomplish in the achievement of those goals. Put a deadline on every one of those tasks. Then, work every day and every hour to hit your deadlines. Measure your progress each day as you go along. Speed up or slow down where necessary. But remember, you can't hit a target that you can't see. The greater clarity that you have with regard to deadlines and measures, the more you will accomplish and the faster you will get it done. A goal or a decision without a deadline is merely a discussion. It has no energy behind it. It is like a bullet with no powder in the cartridge. Unless you establish deadlines to which you are committed, you will end up firing blanks in life and work. Sometimes people ask, what if I set a deadline and I don't achieve the goal by the deadline? Simple. Set another deadline, and then another, if necessary. Deadlines are, best guess, estimates of when the task will be completed. The more you set and work toward deadlines, the more accurate you will become in predicting the time necessary to complete them. You will become better and better at achieving your goals and completing your tasks on schedule, every time. Eating an elephant. You have heard the question, how do you eat an elephant? And the answer is, one bite at a time. This metaphor applies to achieving any big goal, as well. How do you achieve a huge goal? You accomplish it one step, one task, one measure at a time. Break your long-term goals down into annual, monthly, weekly and even hourly goals. Even if your long-term goal is financial independence, look for a way to break that down into how you are going to use each hour of the coming day in such a way that long-term financial independence is far more likely. If you want to increase your income, you know that all income is a result of added value. Look at everything you do and then ask yourself how you could add more value so that you can be worth more than you are earning today. Identify your most valuable task. Go and ask your boss, what one thing do I do that is more valuable than anything else? Whatever his or her answer, look for ways to perform more and more of that task, and to get better and better at doing it. It is absolutely amazing how much you can accomplish if you break your tasks down into bite-sized pieces, set deadlines and then do one thing at a time, every single day. You have heard the old saying, by the yard it's hard, but inch by inch, anything's a cinch. Continuous and never-ending improvement. If you want to increase your hourly rate and your income, look for ways to get a little bit better at the most important things you do, every single day. Read 1 hour per day in your field. Listen to audio programs on your way to and from work. Take additional courses whenever you can. These activities will propel your entire career onto the fast track. When you invest an extra 1 or 2 hours per day in self-improvement, the cumulative effect on your greater ability to get results can be extraordinary. Get healthy and fit. If you want to lose weight, there is a simple 5-word formula: eat less and exercise more. If you discipline yourself to eat a little bit less, but eat higher quality foods, and simultaneously exercise a little bit more each day, you can get into the rhythm of losing 1 ounce per day. No matter how much you weigh today, if you lose 1 ounce each day, that will equal about 2 pounds per month. 2 pounds per month will be 24 pounds per year. In no time at all, you can retrain your body and your appetite so that you lose the weight and keep it off for the rest of your life. Save your pennies and the dollars will save themselves. If you want to become wealthy, begin to question every single expense. Set a goal to save $3, $5, or $10 per day. Put this money away in a savings account and never touch it. As it grows, invest it carefully in well-chosen mutual funds or index funds. Make daily, weekly and monthly saving an investment into a habit and keep it up for the rest of your working life. In no time at all, you will become comfortable living on slightly less than you are spending today. As your income increases, increase the amount that you save. In a few weeks, a few months, a few years, you will be out of debt and have a large amount of money put away and working for you. A few years down the road, you will be financially independent. Become a learned person. If you read 15 minutes each evening, rather than watching television, you will complete about 15 books per year. If you read in the great classics of English literature for 15 minutes each day, in 7 years you will have read the 100 greatest books ever written. You will be one of the best educated and most erudite people of your generation. And you can achieve this just by reading 15 minutes each evening before you go to bed. Increase your income. If you are in sales and you want to increase your income, keep careful track of how many calls, how many presentations, how many proposals and how many sales you are making each day, each week and each month at the present time. Then, set a goal to increase your number of calls, presentations and proposals per day. Set a goal to increase your number of sales each week and each month. Every day, measure yourself against your own standards. If you measure it, you can manage it. In each area of your life, analyze your activities carefully and select a specific number that, more than anything else, determines your level of success in that area. Then focus all of your attention, all day long, on that specific number. The very act of focused attention will cause you to perform better in that area, both consciously and unconsciously. If you want to be healthier, you could focus on the number of minutes per week that you exercise, or the number of calories per day that you eat. If you want to be successful financially, you can focus on the amount you earn each hour, or the amount that you save each month. If you want to be successful in sales, you could focus on the number of calls you make each day, or the number of sales, or the size of sales, you make each month. If you want to be successful in your relationships, you can focus on the number of minutes that you spend face to face with the most important people in your life, each day and each week. You have heard the saying, what gets measured gets done. There is another saying, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. Your ability to set specific measures on your goals and then to keep an accurate record and track your performance each day will assure that you achieve your goals exactly when you have decided to, or even before. Measure your progress. 1. Determine a single measure that you can use to grade your progress and success in each area of life. Refer to it daily. 2. Determine the most important part of your job as it affects your income, and measure your daily activities in that area. 3. Set a minimum, specific amount for daily, weekly, monthly saving and investment, and discipline yourself to put away those amounts. 4. Break every large goal down into measurable, controllable parts, and then focus on accomplishing each part on a fixed deadline. 5. Make it a game with yourself to set benchmarks, measures, scorecards, targets and deadlines for every goal, and then focus on those numbers and dates. The goals will take care of themselves. 6. Resolve to accomplish at least one specific part of a larger goal each day, and never miss a day. Chapter 10. Remove the roadblocks. The person interested in success has to learn to view failure as a healthy, inevitable part of the process getting to the top. Joyce Brothers. How many times do you think that people try to achieve their new goals before they give up? The average is less than 1 time. Most people give up before they even make the first try. And the reason they give up is because of all of the obstacles, difficulties, problems and roadblocks that immediately appear as soon as you decide to do something that you have never done before. The fact is that successful people fail far more often than unsuccessful people. Successful people try more things, fall down, pick themselves up and try again, over and over again before they win through. Unsuccessful people try a few things, if they try at all, and very soon quit and go back to what they were doing before. Temporary failure always precedes success. You should expect to fail and fall short many times before you achieve your goals. You should look upon failure and temporary defeat as a part of the price that you pay on your road to the success that you will inevitably achieve. As Henry Ford once said, failure is merely an opportunity to more intelligently begin again. Once you have decided upon your goal, ask yourself, why am I not there already? What is holding you back? Why haven't you achieved that goal up to now? Identify all the obstacles that stand between you and your goal. Write down every single thing that you can think of that might be blocking you or slowing you down from moving ahead. Think in terms of solutions. Remember, you become what you think about, most of the time. In the area of problems and difficulties, successful people have a particular way of thinking that we call solution orientation. Successful people think about solutions, most of the time. Unsuccessful people think about problems and difficulties most of the time. Solution-oriented people are constantly looking for ways to get over, around and past the obstacles that stand in their ways. Problem-oriented people talk continuously about their problems, about who or what caused them, how unhappy or angry they are and how unfortunate it is that they have occurred. Solution-oriented people, on the other hand, simply ask the question, how can we solve this? And then take action to deal with the problem. Between you and anything you want to accomplish, there will always be problems or obstacles of some kind. This is why success is sometimes defined as the ability to solve problems. Personal leadership is the ability to solve problems. Effectiveness is the ability to solve problems. All men and women who accomplish anything of importance are people who have developed the ability to solve the problems that stand between them and their goals. Problem solving is a skill. Fortunately, problem solving is a skill, like riding a bicycle or typing with a typewriter, which you can learn. And the more you focus on solutions, the more and better solutions will come to you. The better you get at solving problems, the faster you will be at solving each subsequent problem. And as you get better and faster at solving problems, you will attract even bigger and more expensive problems to solve. Eventually, you will be solving problems that can have significant financial consequences for you and others. This is the way the world works. The fact is that you have the ability to solve any problem or to overcome any obstacle on the path to your goal, if you desire the goal intensely enough. You have within you, right now, all the intelligence and ability you will ever need to overcome any obstacle that could possibly hold you back. The theory of constraints. One of the most important breakthroughs in thinking in the last few decades was described by Elihu Goldratt in his book The Goal Is, The Theory of Constraints. This theory says that, between you and anything you want to accomplish, there is a constraint, or limiting factor, that determines how fast you get to where you want to go. For example, if you are driving down the freeway and there is traffic construction that is narrowing all the cars into a single lane, this bottleneck or choke point becomes the constraint that determines how fast you get to your destination. The speed at which you pass through this bottleneck will largely determine the speed of your entire journey. In accomplishing any major goal, there is always a constraint or bottleneck you must get through as well. Your job is to identify it accurately and then to focus all of your energies on alleviating that key constraint. Your ability to remove this bottleneck, or deal with this limiting factor, can help you move ahead faster than perhaps any other step you can take. Internal versus external constraints. The 80-20 rule applies to the constraints between you and your goals. This rule says that 80% of your constraints will be within yourself. Only 20% of your constraints will be outside of yourself, contained in other people and situations. To put it another way, it is you personally who is usually the major roadblock that is setting the speed at which you achieve any goal that you set for yourself. For most people this is hard to accept. But superior people are more concerned with what is right rather than who is right. Superior people are more concerned with the truth of the situation, and what they can do to solve the problem, than they are with protecting their egos. Look into yourself. Ask yourself, what is it in me that is holding me back? Look deep within yourself and identify the key constraints in your personality, temperament, skills, abilities, habits, education or experience that might be holding you back from achieving the goals that you have set for yourself. Ask the brutal questions. Be completely honest with yourself. The primary obstacles between you and your goals are usually mental. They are psychological and emotional in character. They are within yourself rather than within the situation around you. And it is with these mental obstacles that you must begin if you want to achieve everything that is possible for you. 2 major obstacles to success. The 2 major obstacles to success and achievement are fear and doubt. It is first of all, the fears of failure, poverty, loss, embarrassment or rejection that holds the average person back from trying in the first place. This is why the average number of times that a person tries with a new goal is less than 1. As soon as he thinks of the goal, these fears overwhelm him and, like a bucket of water on a small fire, extinguishes his desire completely. The second mental obstacle, closely aligned to fear, is that of self-doubt. We doubt our own abilities. We compare ourselves unfavorably to others, and think that others are somehow better, smarter and more competent than we are. We think, I'm not good enough. We feel inadequate and inferior to the challenges of achieving the great goals that we so much want to accomplish. Negative emotions can be unlearned. Fortunately, if there is anything good about doubt and fear, it is that they are both learned emotions. Have you ever seen a negative baby? Children come into the world with no doubts or fears at all. And whatever has been learned can be unlearned, through practice and repetition. The primary antidotes to doubt and fear are courage and confidence. The higher your level of courage and confidence, the lower will be your levels of fear and doubt, and the less effect these negative emotions will have on your performance and behavior. The keys to courage and confidence. The way that you develop courage and confidence is with knowledge and skill. Most fear and doubt arises out of ignorance and feelings of inadequacy of some kind. The more you learn the things you need to know to achieve your goals, the less fear you will feel on the one hand, and the more courage and confidence you will feel on the other. Think about learning to drive for the first time. You were probably extremely tense and nervous, and made a lot of mistakes. You may have driven erratically and been a danger to yourself and others. But over time, as you mastered the knowledge and skills of driving, you became better and better, and your confidence increased. Today, you can quite comfortably get into your car and drive across the country with no fear or worry at all. You are so competent at driving that you can do it well without even thinking about it. The same principles apply to any skills you need to learn to achieve any goal you can set for yourself. Powerful versus powerless. Dr. Martin Seligman of the University of Pennsylvania spent more than 25 years studying the phenomenon of what he called learned helplessness. What Seligman concluded, after interviewing and studying many thousands of people, was that more than 80% of the population suffers from learned helplessness to some degree, and occasionally to a very high degree indeed. A person suffering from learned helplessness feels that he or she is incapable of achieving his or her goals, or improving his or her life. The most common manifestation of learned helplessness is contained in the words, "I can't." Whenever the victim of learned helplessness is offered an opportunity, possibility or new goal, he immediately responds by saying, "I can't." He then goes on to give all the reasons why a particular goal or objective is not possible for him. I can't move ahead in my career. I can't get a better job. I can't take time off to study. I can't save money. I can't lose weight. I can't start my own business. I can't start a second income business. I can't change or improve my relationship. I can't get my time under control. Whatever it is, he always has a self-limiting reason that immediately slams on the brakes of his potential. It short-circuits any attempt or desire to set a new goal or to change things in any way. Another famous observation of Henry Ford was, if you believe you can do a thing or you believe you cannot, in either case, you are probably right. Unlearning helplessness. Learned helplessness is usually caused by destructive criticism in childhood, negative experiences growing up and failure experiences as an adult. The way you get over this natural tendency to sell yourself short is by setting small goals, making plans and working on them each day. In this way, you gradually develop greater courage and confidence, like building up a muscle. As you become more confident in yourself and your abilities, you can set even larger goals. Over time, your doubts and fears will weaken and your courage and confidence will grow and become the dominant force in your thinking. Eventually, with a record of successes behind you, it won't be long before you become unstoppable. The trap of the comfort zone. The second mental obstacle that you need to overcome is the comfort zone. Many people become complacent with their current situations. They become so comfortable in a particular job or relationship, or at a particular salary or level of responsibility, that they become reluctant to make any changes at all, even for the better. The comfort zone is a major obstacle to ambition, desire, determination and accomplishment. People who get stuck in a comfort zone, combined with learned helplessness, are almost impossible to help in any way. Don't let this happen to you. Set big challenging goals. The way that you get out of your comfort zone, and break loose from learned helplessness, is by setting big, challenging goals. You then break these goals down into specific tasks, set deadlines and work on them every day. Like an ice floe breaking up in the spring, soon the sluggishness and lethargy of learned helplessness and the comfort zone breaks up and you begin moving faster and faster toward accomplishing more and more of what is possible for you. Organize your obstacles by priority. Once you have made a list of all the obstacles that are standing in the way of your achieving your major goals, organize the obstacles by priority. What is the largest single obstacle? If you could wave a magic wand and remove one major obstacle from your path, which one obstacle, if removed, would help you the most in moving ahead more rapidly? Management consultant Ian Mitroff has an interesting set of observations with regard to problem solving and the removal of obstacles. He says that, whatever the problem, define it several different ways before you attempt to solve it. Beware of any problem for which there is only one definition, or only one solution. When you ask the question, with regard to your goal, why am I not there already? What answer comes to mind? What is holding you back? What is standing in your way? It is at this point that you have to drill down to determine the correct obstacle before you begin taking steps to remove it. You do this by asking the question, what else could be the problem? After each definition of the problem. Conducting a sales analysis. In my work with corporations, or with individuals, we start off with the goal of doubling our profits or doubling our income. I then ask, why is it that our profits or our income are not twice as high already? By repeated questioning, we often come up with an answer that is quite different from the obvious answer. Here is an example of the questioning process. We are not making enough sales. What else could be the problem? Our individual sales are not large enough per customer. What else could be the problem? Our advertising is not attracting enough customers. What else could be the problem? As you can see, whichever of these obstacles turns out to be the correct problem will require a completely different course of action to solve it. If we don't have enough sales, our solution is to increase the number of sales. If our sales are not large enough per customer, our solution is to increase the size of sale per customer. If our advertising is not drawing enough customers, our solution is to improve the quality of our advertising in some way. Keep drilling deeper. You could say, our customers are not buying enough from us. What else could be the problem? Our customers are not buying frequently enough from us. What else could be the problem? Our salespeople are not selling enough to our customers. This could lead to totally revamping the quality of the sales force through better recruiting, training and management. What else could be the problem? Our customers are buying too many of our products from our competitors. What else could be the problem? Our competitors are selling too much of their products to our customers. This answer forces you to ask, what value or benefit do our prospective customers see in purchasing from our competitors? How could we offset this perceived benefit? What else could be the problem? We are not making enough profit on our sales. What else could be the problem? It costs us too much to make each sale. What else could be the problem? And so on. Each new definition of the problem suggests different ways that the goal of increased sales or profitability could be achieved. Apply the right solution to the right problem. In the business book, The McKinsey Way, describing the management consulting practices of McKinsey & Company, The authors point out that one of the greatest wastes of time and money is in applying the wrong solution to the wrong problem in the first place. This can apply to your problems and obstacles as well. By identifying the constraints or reasons that you are not achieving your personal income goals, each definition leads to a different set of solutions. They require that you think in different ways. In your personal life, it is the same. The accuracy with which you identify the obstacles or bottlenecks that are holding you back will determine the appropriateness of the various steps that you can take to remove or alleviate those obstacles. Increasing your income. You could start off by stating the problem in this way: I'm not earning enough money. What else is the problem? I'm not contributing enough value to be worth more money. What else could be the problem? I'm not good enough at what I do to be capable of getting results that are worth more than I'm earning today. What else could be the problem? I don't use my time efficiently enough during the workday. What else could be the problem? I spend my evenings watching television, my weekends socializing, and I seldom read or learn anything that would help me to be better at my job. Aha! Now you have found the real problem. Now you have a clear idea of what you have to do differently if you are going to solve your original problem, which was to earn more money. Define the obstacle as a goal. Once you have determined the major obstacle that is holding you back, rewrite that obstacle as a positive goal. For example, you could now say, my goal is to continually upgrade my skills and abilities so that I am in the top 10% of money earners in my field. You then make a list of all the things that you could do to upgrade your knowledge and skills, improve your time management, increase your efficiency and effectiveness, and make more sales for your company. You set deadlines and measures next to each step in your strategy to achieve excellence in your field. You then select one key task and take action on it immediately. From then on, you hold your own feet to the fire. You become your own taskmaster. You discipline and drive yourself to do the things that you need to do to become the kind of person you need to become in order to achieve the goals that you have set for yourself. This exercise of identifying what is holding you back and then setting a clear, written goal to remove that obstacle puts you back in control of your own life. By following through on your resolution, you virtually guarantee your ultimate success, and the achievement of almost any goal you can set for yourself. Strive for accuracy. If you have any questions or concerns about the accuracy of your problem definition, discuss it with someone you know and trust. Put your ego aside. Invite honest feedback and criticism. Be open to the possibility that you have fundamental flaws and weaknesses that are standing in the way of your realizing your full potential. Be brutally honest with yourself. Once your problem or obstacle is clear to you, ideas, opportunities, and answers will come to you from various sources. You will begin to attract into your life all kinds of resources that will help you to overcome the obstacle or difficulty, either within yourself or within the situation around you, and move you more rapidly toward your goal. Almost every problem can be solved. Remember the old poem, for every problem under the sun, there is a solution or there is none. If there is a solution, go and find it. If there isn't, never mind it. For every problem or obstacle that is standing between you and what you want to accomplish, there is a solution of some kind somewhere. Your job is to be absolutely clear about what sets the speed at which you achieve your goal and then to focus your time and attention on alleviating that constraint. By removing your major obstacle, you will often make more progress in a few months than the average person might make in several years. Remove the roadblocks. 1. Identify a major goal and then ask, why aren't I there already? What is holding me back? List everything you can think of. 2. Look into yourself and face the possibility that it is your own fears and doubts that are your biggest roadblocks to success. 3. Identify the constraint or limiting factor, in yourself or the situation, that sets the speed at which you achieve your goal. 4. Develop several definitions of your major problem or obstacle. Ask, what else is the problem? 5. Define your best solution as a goal, set a deadline, make a plan of action, and then get busy on your plan. Work on it every day until the problem is solved or the obstacle is removed. Chapter 11. Become an expert in your field. The uncommon man is merely the common man thinking and dreaming of success and in more fruitful areas. Melvin Powers. Like the Army recruiting poster, one of your goals is to be all you can be. The market only pays excellent rewards for excellent performance. It pays average rewards for average performance and below average rewards, underachievement, failure and frustration for below average results. In our economic system, your income will be determined by three factors. First, what you do. Second, how well you do it. And third, the difficulty of replacing you. One of the qualities of top people is that, at a certain point in their careers, they decided to commit to excellence. They decided to be the best at what they do. They decided to pay any price, make any sacrifice, and invest any amount of time necessary to become very good in their chosen fields. And as a result of this decision, they pulled away from the pack of average performers and moved themselves upward into the income category where today they earn 3, 4, 5 and 10 times as much as their peers who have not made this commitment. The 80-20ths rule revisited. When I started my sales career many years ago, someone told me about the 80-20ths rule as it applied to sales. He said that 20% of the salespeople made 80% of the money. This means that 80% of the salespeople only make 20% of the money, and they have to divide it amongst themselves. At that point, many years ago, I decided that I would prefer to be a member of the top 20% rather than the bottom 80%. This decision changed my life forever. Because I had come from a difficult childhood and received below average grades in school, I grew up with a poor self-image and a low level of self-confidence. It never occurred to me that I could be good at anything. If ever I attempted something and did it well, I immediately dismissed it as an accident or a lucky break. For years, I saw myself as an average or below average performer in any job I worked at. The great insight. Then one day I had a sudden flash of insight. I realized that everybody who is in the top 10% of their field started in the bottom 10%. Everybody who is doing well today was once doing poorly. Everyone who is at the front of the buffet line of life started at the back of the line. And even more importantly, it dawned on me that whatever others have done, within reason, I could do as well. And this turns out to be true for just about everyone. No one is better than you and no one is smarter than you. People are just better or smarter in different areas. In addition, all business skills are learnable. People who are doing better in some area of business have learned the essential skills, in combination with other skills, before you have. If you are not achieving what others are achieving, it simply means that you have just not learned these skills yet. The iron law of self-development. Here was another breakthrough realization for me. You can learn anything you need to learn to achieve any goal you can set for yourself. There are no real limits on what you can accomplish, except for the limits that you place on your mind and imagination. If you decide to become excellent, to join the top 10% of people in your field, there is nothing on earth that can stop you from getting there, except yourself. Will it be easy? Of course not. I do not use the word easy in this book. Everything worthwhile takes a long time and a lot of work to accomplish. But it is possible if you want it badly enough and are willing to work long enough. And it is worth every bit of the effort once you get there. Les Brown, the motivational speaker says, to achieve something that you have never achieved before, you must become someone that you have never been before. Wolfgang von Goethe, the German philosopher said, to have more, you must first be more. Once you decide to become one of the best people in your field, the only question you ask is, how do I achieve it? The very fact that hundreds of thousands, and even millions of people, have gone from the bottom to the top in every field is ample proof that you can do it as well. Many of these people, if not most of them, may not even have the natural talents and abilities that you have. In most areas of life, it is more hard work and dedication than natural ability and talent that leads to excellence and great success. Is education essential for success? In an analysis of the members of the Forbes 400, the 400 richest men and women in America, conducted a couple of years ago, they found that a person who dropped out of high school and who made it into the Forbes 400 was worth, on average, $333 million more than those who had completed college or university. The reason I mention this is because many people feel that, if they didn't get good grades in school, they are permanently limited in what they can accomplish later in life. Nothing could be further from the truth. Some of the wealthiest, most successful men and women in America, and throughout the world, did poorly in school. Remember the question, how do you eat an elephant? And the answer was, one bite at a time. This is the same way that you become absolutely excellent at what you do. You move to the top one step, one skill, one small improvement at a time. Appreciating or depreciating asset. The fact is that your current level of knowledge and skill is becoming obsolete at a faster rate today than ever before. I mentioned earlier that your earning ability can be an appreciating or a depreciating asset, depending upon whether or not you are upgrading it or simply allowing it to become obsolete. This is a choice you are making, or failing to make, every day. The good news is that when you start to aggressively upgrade your knowledge and skills on the road to becoming one of the best people in your field, it will be as if you are in a race and you are the only one who is really running. You very soon move ahead of the pack and into the lead position. Meanwhile, most of your competitors are simply strolling along, doing just what they need to do to keep their jobs. The idea of committing to excellence has never even occurred to them, as it has to you. Identify the knowledge you will need. You begin your journey to excellence by asking the question, what additional knowledge, skills, and information will I need to lead my field in the months and years ahead? Project yourself forward 3 to 5 years and imagine that you are one of the very best, highest paid people in your industry. What would have to have happened? What would you have to have done, learned or accomplished to reach this point? What skills would you have had to master to lead your field? Make a career move. Once upon a time, I had a good friend who was a lawyer in a small firm. His father had been a lawyer, so he had taken law when he went to university. When he got out of school in his early 20s, he began practicing law amongst his friends and associates. But he soon decided that law was not for him. He decided to make a career in business instead. By this time he was about 26 years old. In the face of considerable opposition, he gathered all his resources and concentrated single-mindedly in getting into Harvard University to attend their MBA program. It took him 2 years, but he finally achieved it. It then took him 2 more years to complete the required courses and graduate with the coveted Harvard MBA. He returned to his home city and interviewed for various jobs, finally taking an entry-level management position at a rapidly growing airline. It turned out to be a perfect career move. Within 10 years he was the president of the airline and earning 10 times as much as any of the lawyers that he had graduated with some years before. He became one of the youngest and most respected executives in charge of a major company in the country. You will have multiple jobs and careers. It is estimated that the average person starting work today will have 14 full-time jobs lasting 2 years or more, and 4 or 5 full-time careers in completely different businesses or industries. Fully 40 million Americans will be contingency workers for most of their careers. They will never work long-term for a single company but will instead move from company to company doing professional or technical jobs. It is almost inevitable that your career will change continually as you grow and mature. You must be constantly looking down the road and thinking about the skills and competencies you will need to earn the kind of money you want to earn in the years ahead. Identify your key result areas. As I mentioned before, every job is made up of about 5 to 7 key result areas. In sales, for example, these 7 key result areas consist of: first, prospecting; second, establishing rapport; third, identifying needs; fourth, presenting solutions; fifth, answering objections; sixth, closing the sale; and seventh, getting resales and referrals from satisfied customers. If you are in sales, you should give yourself a grade of 1 to 10, with 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest, in each of these areas. You need to have a minimum score of 7 across the board to be in the top 20% of your field. Once you have graded yourself in these 7 areas, you should take the list to your boss, or even better, to one of your customers, and ask them to give you a grade as well. This could be a real eye-opener for you. Very often, your evaluation of yourself is much different and higher than the way you are evaluated by others. Whatever your final grades, you must then select your weakest key skill and go to work on that skill to bring it up so that it is equal or greater than the others. Your weakest key skill sets the height of your income and determines how fast and how far you go in your career. Move on to the fast track. Here is the great go-forward question for the rest of your working life. What one skill, if you developed and did it in an excellent fashion, would have the greatest positive impact on your career? This becomes your focal point for personal and professional development. Your answer to this question is essential to your achieving excellence in your field. Keep asking yourself, what one skill, if I developed and did it in an excellent fashion, would have the greatest positive impact on my income and on my future in my current job? If you are at all unsure about the answer to this question, go to your boss and ask him or her. Ask your coworkers. Ask your staff. Ask your spouse and your friends. It is absolutely essential that you find out the answer to this question and then focus all of your energies on improving your performance in this particular area. This becomes your major definite purpose for personal and professional improvement. You write it down, set a deadline, make a plan, take action on your plan, and then do something every day to get better in this particular skill. Once you have achieved mastery in your weakest key result area, you then ask the question again. Now, what one skill will help me the most? And whatever your answer to that question, you go to work on that skill until you achieve mastery in that area as well. The highest paid people in every field score an 8, 9 or 10 across the board in each of their key result areas. This must also be your goal. The excellent executive. If you are in management, there are 7 key result areas that determine your success or failure at your job. These are 1. Planning, 2. Organizing, 3. Staffing, 4. Delegating, 5. Supervising, 6. Measuring and 7. Reporting. All top managers are excellent in every one of these areas. All poor managers are weak in one or more of these areas. A serious weakness in any one of these key result areas can be fatal to your success in your work. For example, if you were absolutely excellent in every part of managing except for delegating, that would hold you back every day of your career. I have worked with managers who were so poor at delegating that they could get nothing done. They eventually had to be fired because of the damage they were causing to the rest of the business. Give yourself a grade of 1 to 10 in each of these key result areas. Ask people around you to grade you as well. And be honest. Seek for the truth rather than a diplomatic answer from a polite coworker. Perform a 360-degree analysis. One of the popular management tools being used today is called a 360-degree analysis. In this type of analysis, a survey is given to several people who report to a particular manager. The survey is filled out anonymously and all the surveys are returned to an outside consultant who summarizes the answers on the survey. This summary of answers is then given to the manager so that he or she can see how he or she is perceived by others. It often comes as quite a shock to the manager. For example, the manager will say, "I make careful and thoughtful decisions." But the staff will say, "He is weak, indecisive and insecure when it comes to making decisions."